some Pepsi. Someone that knows how to sing it for me. Just a little bit of that, some Pepsi. That was just a sound check. Stay tuned.
Give it up for my man from Group Civil Disobedience, Jonathan Weaver! How's everybody doing today? I really appreciate you guys coming out here, showing your support. You all truly brave people. There's a lot of people who didn't make it out today because they were afraid, and people shouldn't fear their governments. But I'm just here right now to thank you guys for being out here, and I want y'all to have an awesome Capital Cannabis Reform Jam. We're going to keep on doing this. Project 420. There's a quote of mine, not of mine, a quote of Thomas Jefferson's that I really love. I'm going to just read it real quick and let things get underway even farther. It goes as, may it be to the world what I believe it may be. To some parts sooner, to others later, but finally to all. The signal of arousing men to burst the chains under which monkish ignorance and superstition had persuaded them to bind themselves. The light of science has already spread to every view the palpable truth that the mass of mankind was not born with saddles on their backs, nor a favored few booted and spurred to ride them legitimately by the grace of God. Right. These are the grounds of hope for others. And I read that years ago, and it hit me right in my heart, because it's happening today, and it's slow, but it's slow progress, and it's progress anyways. And thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
We're force of habit, and we're about to melt the dome. Ow!
Give it up for Sharon Revere!
Yeah!
Give it up!
Hey guys, thank you all for coming out. I prepared a little something. Happy 420! Okay, today's 420 and it's a symbolic day for the drug policy reform movement. For for many, it's a day of celebration, but it's also a day to speak out and show our legislators that you support marijuana legalization and the ending of cannabis prohibition. Okay guys, my name's Sharon Rayford. I'm coming out of the closet. I'm a mom for marijuana. I'll tell you briefly about how I got involved in this whole movement. About 6 years ago, I had a 19-year-old daughter get pulled out of the bed with a gun to her head by an assault rifle, not just any gun. They came in to my house at 4 o'clock in the morning and ran down my stairs with guns drawn and pulled my daughter out of bed. Unfortunately, her alarm went off at the exact moment they were pulling her out of bed because she had to go to school that day. She's a college student, an honor student, I may add. Well, she had had somebody there that night. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. She had had somebody there that night, just a friend, and he got caught and busted on the way out of our, from our house. And he, for some reason, told the cops that he had been at my house. Well, that's all it takes anymore. You parents out there better tell your children that if they hang out with anybody and they get busted, that they're waiting on your doorstep that night. Okay? They came in, they took my daughter to jail, they charged her with misdemeanor possession, and because we had a grow light in the house that had never grown pot, by the way, she was charged also with felony distribution and manufacturing. My daughter, at 19 years old, was standing and facing in front of the judge 26 years in jail for half a gram of marijuana. We have to wake up and realize that this is not about protecting our children. This is about making money and making a political stance. They're scared to come out about it. We've talked to plenty of people in this building right here in the last few months that are willing to sponsor something for us. We've got to get everybody out here involved so they will listen to y'all. Everybody here needs to tell everybody that loves you, if you're a pot smoker, if your family loves you, if your friends, your neighbors, make a good example out there, and people will come out and speak up for you. If you can't come out to things like this, they can. My sister's here. Her husband was diagnosed with ALS. She doesn't smoke pot, but she's out here. She took a day off of work, and she came down here, and she is fighting. She is a nana for marijuana. She does not want her children and her grandchildren arrested. And right now, the way it looks, 1 out of every 3 kids will be arrested for a non-violent drug offense before they turn 23. Peace! Peace, please! Woo! He's a supporter, what do you think? Yeah! Woo! Alright, let me get back to what I was doing. I get sidetracked sometimes. Okay. Yeah, true. Thank you. I'm here to tell you about a war. This war's been going on in every neighborhood in America and beyond, in every school and every workplace. It's a very profitable war, and it's been going on for 75 years. I'm here to tell you it's time to end. This war is the war on drugs. That's what they call it. Have you ever seen them shooting an assault rifle at a bag of weed? Okay. It is an assault on our families. It is an assault on our neighbors. It's an assault on the people that love us, and it is an assault mainly on our children. Because when I grew up in Atlanta, right down here, running around this Capitol building and talking to the people that worked here, even back then, I was a little rebel back then. Okay? But I ran around down here. My sister and I were discussing it the other day. When I used to come down here in the 80s and was running around in high school, I went to Lakeside, by the way, if any of y'all know where that is. We were more concerned in a park smoking a doobie that our parents would find out, not the police. They weren't like that. Okay? And it has become this big endeavor of making money And why are we trying to make money off of our citizens and our neighbors? I don't understand. Jamie with LEAP is here today. He'll talk more and get more involved in that. Law enforcement against Prohibition. There's a lot of them out there. We're gaining, some hope in our law enforcement. I'll tell you, 6 years ago I got involved in this. I had no idea it would go this far. Things did not look like this 6 years ago. Things have changed a lot in the last 6 years. And it's going to change a lot in the next 5. I'm here to tell you, I went to Washington, D.C. in February with some other ladies representing Georgia with the Normal Women's Alliance. And we had a lady there from Lake Polls. They do polls, kind of like Rasmussen and these others. She looked at all of us ladies and she said, "Free the weed! Free the weed! She looked at us ladies and she said, if we can talk to one person a month and change her mind. Each and every one of you out here needs to take this pledge today. Talk to one single person, not somebody you've smoked pot with before, back in the day. I'm talking about somebody that is not standing on the same side as we are. If we can all do that, she said that the women's vote could be moved 2% on the polls for the next 5 years, and pot will be legal. The women, thank you guys, don't get me wrong, but the men have gotten us to the 50% mark. We've got to hold their hands, grab their arms, and walk across the finish line with them. We will have a better country. People will want to call the police and tell them about things that are going on in their community that are wrong. They don't want to feel like they're a criminal when the police come to them and they may have, a marijuana leaf on their shirt. That shouldn't make any difference. I don't drink. I don't care who drinks. Doesn't matter to me. So why would anybody care if I smoke pot? Now I'm going to give it up to everybody else and let them talk. I can talk for hours, but I'm letting y'all go.
Yeah!
Y'all ready for Paul Cornwell? Yeah! Are y'all ready for Paul Cornwell? Yeah! Give it up, give it up, give it up! All right, 420.
in about 1,000 cities worldwide today in protest for medical and legal marijuana. They've been using it as a gun to keep power over the poor people of the world forever. That's what it's about, power. And as long as they can keep it, we're going to be down, trodden, and in jail, lose our properties and our kids, our education, and our future. Is our future worth fighting for? You're damn right it is. I'm with CAMP, Coalition Abolition Marijuana Prohibition, and when we hooked up with the Yippies in 1974 in D.C. to do the first smoke-ins, which is civil disobedience at its first, people said it couldn't be done. I remember in 1970 at the University of Georgia, they held a referendum and the students voted for whether it should be legal or not. And the students voted 70% in favor of legalization in 1970. Okay, so it's a long-ass war. 78, we had 1,000 people over here at Hurt Park for the first Atlanta smoke-in. And after they arrested 28 of our fellow patriot protesters, we marched up here to City Hall, the state capitol. That was the first state capitol demonstration for legal marijuana. But we were hopping mad. You all might want to know what you can do besides come down here to the state capitol. I'm going to tell you, real politics starts with the individual. And then it moves to local politics, city councils, council meetings, local organizations that aren't even related to politics, community boards. This shit about giving people and taking their driver's license and giving them probation, etc., is unconscionable. And I've been given the sign that I won't cuss. But I never promised I'm not going to cuss. When I get downtrodden, stomped on, beat on, jailed, and all my property taken, I'm going to call it what the shit it is. Okay? That's it. I don't give a damn.
Right.
All right? And that's just the way I am. Come lock me up. I've been locked up before. All right. We got to march. This is a great start. I just came down with about 6 or 7 people from City Hall, telling them that we want amnesty for medical marijuana in the city of Atlanta. We want them to join their sister cities in Barcelona and San Francisco and make it no criminal penalty for marijuana in the cities.
Ow!
That's where we start, the city. And then we go into Gwinnett, DeKalb, Cobb, Clayton, all those other fascist counties north of that, south of that, where people really get screwed over. Not to use another word, but there's children present. So, we've got a booth over at the Sweetwater 420, so if you want to talk when the music isn't so loud, we're going to have a booth there all weekend. All the organizations are going to be represented at various odd times and demonstration. It's south of the Planet 420, right across from the Sweetwater beer truck. And what we're doing is passing out flyers and getting the word out that we're joining the Global Cannabis March May 5th, Saturday, May 5th at Freedom Park, and we're marching to Little 5 Points. We do this every year. I guess it's been about 12, 15 years now. Sometimes we've had marches of 1,000 people up and down Peachtree Street. The movement is starting to come back. But this year we're going to join 250 cities worldwide at the Global Cannabis March. And I don't know if y'all know, be looking at the web or checking the website out, globalcannabismarch.com. Last year there was 15,000 people in Toronto, 25,000 people in Vancouver, Argentina, Buenos Aires, 15,000 people, 10,000 people in Paris, 5,000 people in Mexico City. Come on. If they can do it, we can do it here in Atlanta. I remember when we first started the Great Atlanta Pod Festival. And, the city got really down on us because we used to have the smoke-in, 78, and we kept doing smoke-ins till about, 88, 10 years of smoke-ins. And then finally the city come to us. We made alliances with NORML. We had a smoke-in in Woodruff Park during the Democratic Convention in 1980. And they said, listen, you won't have so much resistance from us if you don't call it a smoke-in. I said, well, let me smoke a joint and figure out what we're going to call it. So I got a few of my friends together, we rolled a big fatty, and we came up with the name of the Great Atlanta Pot Festival. And they said, well, can't you take the pot out of it? I said, what the hell do you think we're doing there? So, the first couple years, 89, 90, 91, we had 1,000 people in Piedmont Park. Listen, it was a big fight just to maintain a demonstration in Piedmont Park. They didn't want us there. Even though there were smoke-ins that weren't called smoke-ins back in the early 70s in Piedmont Park, when Allman Brothers were playing, Grateful Dead. Those were smoke-ins. We just didn't have to call it then. So, we got fortunate. The Crows said, F you to the Budweiser sponsorship they were being offered, and they said, Paul, and they told me right here when we had the Grapes playing in the state capitol rally, we had 300, 400 people here. And Chris Robinson nodded to me, yes, we'll play the Great Atlanta Smoke Pot Festival. And that year, we weren't expecting the crowd. We had 50,000 people in Piedmont Park. Listen, we made our statement all the way back then. 92, 50,000. 93, 30,000. 94, 30,000. 95 with Cypress Hill and Black Uhuru, 30,000. Okay? In 95, we went through some hellacious suits and law back and forth in federal court with the city, and we had to modify the festival ordinance. And public assembly like this. Now you no longer have to apply 90 days out, you only have to wait 30 days out. And for a demonstration like this, you only have to give them 10 days notice. But it was a long fight, it was an expensive fight, and that's the reason we don't do the Great Atlanta Pot Festival anymore. Plus, now you can go to a Snoop Dogg show, or a 311 show, or a Widespread Panic show, and it ain't nothing but a smoke-in. But you're paying $27 to $50 a ticket. Take that money and give it to your local organizations. Give it to the people that spend every minute of their waking day fighting this unjust war. There's people just like you all over the world. In every country, every city, every little community. Listen, they use marijuana as an oppressive tactic for 50 years all over the world. We got a war raging with the cartels in Mexico. Why? Because we don't have legal marijuana here. And because people are going to smoke pot. And they're going to pay as little as they can. So they're going to buy Mexican. Don't buy Mexican pot. Get a closet. Grow your own. Grow your own. Then I'm going to leave it with you. Consider growing your own adult nonprofit transfer, non-commercialization. We don't want it advertised. We don't want it taxed. We just want you to stay the hell out of our business. Thank you very much.
In 2009, the border was getting pretty bad in Mexico, and President Obama and Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano decided they needed to send extra ICE agents to kind of keep the guns from flowing into Mexico, to keep the money from going there. And I was the only one from Baltimore to volunteer to go. I went to Laredo, Texas. In my time there, I can't even begin to tell you how much marijuana crosses that border on a daily basis. It's thousands and thousands of pounds. That's probably 60% of the cartel profits that they earn. 60 to 70% in the case of organizations like Los Zetas, who are the most violent. There's been 50,000 people killed since 2006. We've been hearing about drug violence since we were little, you know, since I was little, with Pablo Escobar and cocaine and stuff. But this is a whole different level. This is over 50,000, not counting the tens of thousands that have been disappeared, you know, that we don't know about. That border is 2,000 miles long. And that violence is crossing over here. If we could take marijuana out of the equation, we can fix the situation in that country to our south, which is our neighbor. Because America's going to get its ass kicked in the long run if we let that country continue to crumble to pieces like it is.
Yep.
Anyways, so I came back from the border. While I was there, I had a lot of arguments with National Guard guys, DEA. I'm going to talk about the DEA in a second. Sons of... By the way, give it to the boys in blue that were back here earlier. Guys over there, they went to their car to take a little break. Sorry.
We scared them.
Well, when I got back from the border, I was out. ICE, my agency, Homeland Security, had their annual holiday party in December 2009. I was there. I got into a little skirmish. Was out with a couple of federal agents. We were plain clothes like this, minus the badge and all that. With a police officer. A little skirmish. Had to be investigated. I got sent home with pay. You know, while my agency investigated this. It's nothing big, it was a small deal. I was at home for a few months, and I was able to reflect on what I'd seen on that border. The Haiti earthquake happened about that time. I don't know, something in me kind of woke up. I got to reunite with some of my country friends from Virginia, where marijuana and cannabis is abundant. So I felt a little freedom for a while, and I knew I would never be able to go back to work for the government again once you get that taste. Like, you have to kind of toe a certain line, and I just knew it wasn't going to be the same. I did go back, everything was cleared. I went back for 7 months, and it was never going to be the same. I was looking for jobs. I finally found one in Greenville, South Carolina. Took about a 300% pay cut to do this, but in the end, it's going to be worth it. And when I moved there, I knew I wanted to connect with some place, you know, in the South. I love this region, and this area, this territory is where needs the most help. We need to make the biggest changes in this area. So anyways, last September, I hooked up with Dean and Jonathan Weaver, Zuko, came down here. Tim told me about LEAP a little bit, and I joined that organization. And but I knew Atlanta I wanted to be Atlanta, where I kind of attached to. Charlotte might be the queen city, but Atlanta's the queen of the South. This is huge. So we need to make some serious strides in this city and kind of work together. We have so many organizations from different groups. So the most important thing is to all continue to stick together. Facebook, all the social networking sites, we can do that. And we need to start talking to these people here, because over 50% of Americans believe in the all-out legalization of cannabis, about 80% for medical, and again, 50,000 people have been killed in 5 years. I was in Laredo. I follow the border every day. I read about it. I'm addicted to it. I've studied the history, the roots. I can't wait for the GSU presentation to show you all about the cartels, the evolution. It's interesting. But just yesterday, I turned on Borderland Beat. I checked the websites, you know, and 14 bodies chopped up from here down, laying on the street. You know, that's 2 miles from the United States border where this is happening. And that border is not secure. People say we need to, you can't secure a 2,000-mile border when there's billions of trade going back and forth. El Chapo Guzman is building tunnels. It's just
Cut him off, man.
Okay. Anyways, it's impossible to really 100% secure that border because of the trade. So, anyways, again, we take cannabis out of the equation, out of the Mexican situation. There's so much corruption. It's been half of a century. We've been criminalizing, I don't know if that's a word, criminalizing Mexico for half of a century. And when President Calderon came into office in 2006, he went to war with organized crime and the drug cartels. And all that layers and layers of corruption has come to light, and now we're seeing it. And we need to get cannabis out of the equation, bring it back to the U.S. I'm almost done. And one thing real quick, Paul said, I don't know if he's still here, about get a closet and grow it. I understand, I wish everybody would do that, but we don't. We find our connection, our hookup, and we stick with it. Because, you know, you're not going to go around looking for a bag of weed for buy a half an ounce with a Made in USA tag on the back. You're going to get what works, and you're going to stick with it. And in a lot of cases, it's just mass-produced Mexican marijuana that comes over. It's tons and tons and tons, and we need to stop that. So, all right, A-Town, thank you very much. I love you guys.
Jamie!
Where's the MC?
Zuko!
Give it up, give it up, give it up! We're closing out now, so I'm gonna need y'all to make a whole lot of noise for Jamie Haas. He was our keynote speaker, came down from South Carolina from Lee. Give it up for Jamie Haas, give it up, give it up! Check it out, check it out. We about to break down, but before we do that, our good people with Georgia for Cannabis, give it up for them. Our good people from SSDP, Students for a Sensible Drug Policy, give it up for them. Our people from Peachtree NORML, give it up for them. Yes, yes, yes. Our people from Pro Smokers Tour, give it up for them. We're gonna give away some stuff right now. I'm gonna bring up my man, Dean. We're gonna pull out a couple of raffle tickets. I know y'all been getting them. I hope you've been getting them. If your number is called, please make your way to the front. As they would say on Price is Right. As they would say on Price is Right.
Come on down!
There you go, there you go.